people and counting ahead of us. You can fill out your bracket by going to ESPN.com.
Us means you haven't either.
/bracket. I have not.
Okay,
no,
good.
I have not. You can also just download the Tournament Challenge app today.
Oh, LeBron got LeBlocked.
This is
Listen,
Very
I love
clever.
our creativity. That wasn't mine, but I like that one. The Knicks got their 14th win of the season yesterday over LeBron and the Lakers, and he really struggled from the field in the fourth quarter, just 4 of 15. 11 misses were the most in a single quarter of his NBA career. One of those came in the waning seconds of the game. Right here, LeBlocked. With the Lakers down 1, that sealed the Knicks' victory. LA had led by 11 with under 3.5 minutes to go, and that was a huge play. And here's the video that's been making the rounds. LeBron sitting at the end of the bench as his teammates huddle during a timeout. Knicks TV analyst Walt Frazier, who's a Hall of Famer, of course, criticized LeBron for not publicly looking like, at least, part of the team. Listen to what Walt said.
When you're in the face of the NBA, I think you should be more a part of your team, folks. In the public, you got to be a part of the team. Maybe in the locker room, you're not, but you have to exude that type of togetherness in public, folks. And right now, we see he doesn't really care.
You know what? Clyde is wrong. And in this particular instance, he didn't know what the hell he was talking about. Let's just call it what it is. There is nothing that this man has done for any of us to go on national television, local television, or radio and say there's a character issue.
Last night after the game, I went and had dinner with LeBron. And you know what? 6 of his teammates was with him. So if he's not a good teammate, he's not a good leader, he wouldn't be hanging with these guys off the floor in New York City.
That was Damon Jones on Get Up this morning. Okay, Tim Legler, here's the thing. This is not the first time this season we've talked about LeBron, maybe his actions, body language not being perfect. It happened another time people were critical against the Indiana Pacers. So what do you think? Walt's take on it? Damon, Stephen A., where do you stand on this? Because it was noticeable.
Well, here's where I disagree with Stephen A. and Damon Jones. It's not as if Walt was saying that he's just flat out not a leader. He's talking about the optics of this specific situation. And he's right. It's never a good thing for a guy to be removed from his team during a timeout.
Right.
I don't care who you are. When has that look ever been good? When does that say, I am heavily invested in what's going on right now with this team? It just doesn't. I'm not going to say LeBron hasn't demonstrated great leadership throughout his career, because he has. I don't think that's where Walt was going with it. He was talking about specifically in that situation and how that looks. And it's never a good look for any player at any time. And I really honestly think it's indefensible to say that those actions are acceptable or in any way indicate leadership in the moment. I don't know why anyone would say that.
Thank you. Capital letters. Thank you.
I'm not a fan of guys removing themselves from huddles during timeouts. I've seen it how many times throughout the course of my career, or even as an analyst. I'm just not a fan of it. I think it's a bad look.
It is, and the thing is, it's really the first time we've seen it from LeBron a couple of different times this season. Okay, thank you for that. Moving on, what a night it was for Giannis. 52 points, but the Sixers beat the Bucks anyway. So when you look at the top of the Eastern Conference, Tim, Milwaukee, Toronto, Philly, top 3, what did Philly's win yesterday say about kind of the state of the top of that conference?
Well, for me, this is their most impressive win of the season. Philadelphia to go in there, play the way that they did, really operate their offense with that kind of efficiency, where Milwaukee had no answers, and Milwaukee's been a top 5 defensive team all year. I just thought Philadelphia yesterday, for the first time since they've had this new lineup with Jimmy Butler and then Tobias Harris on top of that, this is the first time they've looked like they were all on the same page. And they didn't even all play great as a starting unit. Didn't matter. They looked like they were all pulling in the same direction, and they're a lot more comfortable with each other. That's scary for the rest of the East, because we all know this is the second best starting 5 on paper in the NBA, but they just haven't always played that way or clicked. They certainly clicked yesterday, and they looked dominant. And now you have a lot more faith that Philadelphia can make a legitimate run to at least as far as the conference finals or maybe the NBA finals.
It's been a long time since we've been able to say, I can't wait for the Eastern Conference playoffs to begin. Really can't wait. Tim, thanks.
Yep.
Keep this in mind as you're filling out your bracket, that John Calipari may have just one championship to his credit as a head coach, but his teams have regularly made deep runs in the tournament over the last decade plus. If you go back to his time at Memphis, Coach Cal's teams have reached the Elite Eight in 9 of their past 12 trips to the dance, including 6 out of 8 at Kentucky. Perfect place to dance? At a party. who's the best party in town? Marty Smith, who joins us live from Lexington.
Thank you, Elle. Good evening. The ESPN Tournament Challenge Marathon has made its way to Lexington, Kentucky. We're at Malone's Prime. Right on the other side of this wall, John Calipari is hosting his weekly radio show on the UK Sports Network. He doesn't know we're here. Let's break up his party.
But he's sub Williams.
Yeah, baby!
Marty.
What's up, man?
What are you doing back here?
This is SportsCenter, everybody. What's up, man? Good to see you. How's it going?
I couldn't let him back in my office.
I stole his watch last year.
He stole rings and a watch and left the office. I'm like, give me my rings back.
I just yelled, "You can't hide money," and I took all of his jewelry. So don't worry, everybody knows we were coming but you. We're not being rude and interrupted. We're not being rude and interrupted. So we're live on SportsCenter right now.
This is the UK
Where?
SportsCenter, the SportsCenter.
Norby Williamson.
That guy,
SportsCenter?
yes, that guy, SportsCenter.
Then I'm out. I'm out then.
Couple questions. Can I get
Go ahead.
You are so good at managing.
Say that again.
That you are so good.
Say it one more time.
You are so damn good.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
Managing all the turnover. You know, you send guys to the league every single year. What's the secret of this sustained success despite having to turn that roster over so
Great
often?
kids who come from great families that want to share, that want to get better, that want to be good teammates, but they want to get better. And then they take great pride in each other. But you got to have special kids that want to do that. If they just want to shoot all the balls, just let me shoot all of them. I'm not worried about anybody. It's hard to fit. We need, again, I want a whole team of guys where everybody eats. So you have an injury or something happens, they can come together and know. And then when Reed comes back, we don't miss a beat. Reed stepped right back in and did great. So it was good. We got great kids who come from families, and this is hard because all of them, there's something at stake now. Absolutely. Not just for one or two, there's something at stake for all these families. I get it. I don't take it lightly, but I do know, let's hold them accountable. Let's challenge them. I want them to have fun. I want them to know we love them, we care, but I'm going to tell them the truth. I'm not going to BS them. I'm not trying to stroke them. This is where you got to go with this.
So what's the truth about this team? You get the two in the Midwest. What's the ceiling?
I don't know yet, but I talked to the staff today. We're still getting better, which is a great sign. And again, we've started 4 freshmen, and then Reed came back, but we're still starting 3 freshmen. A couple freshmen like Emmanuel quickly has gotten so much better. EJ and Nick got a chance to play without Reed because Reed was out like almost 3 weeks. And it's all Jamal Baker's getting better. They're all getting better. Ashton, he only missed 1 layup last game. He's missed 5 layups. And so.
Well, I think that your ceiling's really high, and I know you know that. And one last thing. I see a large bill you're going to have to pay tonight, brother. That's a big tab right there.
I'm broke. I don't know what you're talking about.
I appreciate your time, brother.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Guys.
It's an absolute shame that neither one of those guys have any personality. Joined now by our college basketball analyst and coach, Seth Greenberg. We're going to talk about the Midwest region, arguably the toughest region in the entire tournament. So Kentucky's lost twice in their last 9 games, both of whom were to Tennessee. Okay. Meanwhile, you have them going all the way to the championship where they're going to lose to Duke. Why are you so bullish on Kentucky?
Why wouldn't you have Kentucky going there? You're talking about this team. They're an elite defensive team. They rebound the basketball as well as any team in the country. Right now, offensively, you got Tyler Hero, Keldon Johnson making shots. Ashton Higgins defending the ball. And P.J. Washington, in my opinion, P.J. Washington has turned into a match-up nightmare. Put it on the block, he can drive you. Put him in a high post, he can drive you, shoot the 3. Put him in a ball screen, he pick and pops. The development of this team offensively to complement what they've done defensively is the reason I have them going to the Final Four.
And you have to wonder, too, for P.J. Washington, right? Like, he was just one little tip-in, one bunny away from sending his team to the finals. You've got to imagine that he's going to be... You're already queuing up Iowa State. I was going to say...
You kind of trying to wrap me there, so I was trying to get ahead.
Give me a team that you think, other than North Carolina and Kentucky, that could contend for this thing.
This Iowa State team is interesting. Really, really talented offensive team. Mario Shayok transferred from Virginia, big-time bucket getter, and they don't turn the basketball over, which is so important. All right, and they defend without fouling. But the most important thing, since the Big 12 tournament, all right, right? They got back to defending. They allowed 5 fewer points a game. So they're keeping the ball in front. They're contesting shots. They're not fouling, so they're defending without fouling. That's complementing what they're doing offensively. They're bringing Lindell Whittington off the bench. And Whittington, he is not a good offensive player, a terrific kind of instant offense off the bench. Extremely skilled, extremely well balanced, and they create matchup problems because they have 4 playmakers on the floor at all times. Iowa State, a really good offensive team.
They're definitely a team, too, that live up to the it's about when you get hot, because they ended the season about as bad as you can, but they certainly turned things around.
You know what? You turn the page. That's what coaches do. You turn the page.
Listen, everybody
you start
0-0.
the season, blank slate, the whole bit.
Oh, all the coach speak. It's a brand new season. Coach, you're going to come
by the
back.
way, you know what they told me?
Yeah.
It's time to wrap.
It's time to wrap it up.
Okay,
it's
let's
time
wrap
to
it
wrap.
up.
But
Yeah,
you are
let's
going to
get
come back, and we're going to talk about the West
We'll see you
region.
shortly on the
Okay.
West.
Okay.
Thanks.
Great segue.
Thanks, up.
Nice tease.
Matt Barry, he's out of the way now. We're done with him.
Sage, how did Matt Barry come up? 5.7 million. So, listen, 3 minutes ago when we showed this, we've had 45 million people, I think, or 45,000 people rather, that have joined in the 10 minutes since we showed this. Yeah, I'm terrible at numbers, by the way. Remember that you can download the Tournament Challenge app or go to ESPN.com to fill out your bracket today.
Still to come in this hour on SportsCenter, rebounding from history. Now 1 seed again. How will Virginia and Coach Tony Bennett put the horror of last year's historic loss to UMBC behind them? Plus, more on our bracket hotspots with Jay Billis and Seth Greenberg, breaking down bracket busters in the South and the West. And after Golden State's back-to-back wins